I always laugh when I hear the imposter syndrome. Like, how do you not be an imposter? I always say, don't be one.
The question is, how long have you been one? Because if you've been one, then you haven't been you.
Wow. You just stripped my armor off.
It's not about your performance. It's about your purpose.
The number one fear is public speaking.
The biggest fear we have is not what we're going to say. It's what others are going to say about us. We have a fear of people issue, and then we say it's public speaking. It's the stupidest thing I've heard. What? People are like, well, who inspires you? You know who inspires me? Me.
The old you.
Yeah. I know my story better than anybody else. Now I get to tell it. If you ever want to push somebody away, just believe in yourself a little bit more. It's not about you inspiring people. It's the reality of the situation that people don't know how to handle your power. And one thing I work really hard at doing is putting people first. You will never lose by putting other people first.
Today's guest is not just a coach, he's a movement. Benny Salas is the founder of That Coaching Guy, Inc. And if you've ever wanted to own the room, get paid to speak, or just stop second guessing your inner voice, this is your episode. Let's go deep, let's speak more, let's get harder than life with Benny Salas. Where we met was at we were both speaking
The $1 Million
at
Message.
$1 Million Message.
Well, we met before that.
Where did we meet?
We met at Adam Jablin and Paul Getter's event. I don't know whose event it was by the end of the day.
It was Adam's.
It didn't feel like that, but
it was so funny because I showed up, and to this day, I apologize to Adam. I just showed up and just walked in. But he called and invited me, and I show up, and I met a bunch of people. Tim Story, Matt Williams, you, every single person I've had on the podcast.
Yeah.
And that was a good event. It was my first. I had just started all this stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously that God said, hey, dummies, you didn't talk, so let's put you back together.
I followed you, and then I just stayed connected. And I think when it comes to people, I always play the long game, right? I try to suspend my judgments. That's something that we learned through coaching, and I'll tell you more about me becoming a professional coach. But that's something that we learn is you have to suspend judgment.
Play the long game.
Absolutely.
In this world, how do you play the long game when everybody is talking instant gratification? Yeah. I want my dopamine hit right now. How do you do that?
So I'm the guy that if we go to an event, I'm probably not going to take a photo with you, right? And that's very intentional.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't chase clout. I don't chase opportunity. What I chase is purpose. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I believe that like wholeheartedly.
Well, we're here.
We're here, right? So
you told a powerful story on stage, and it was very vulnerable. And I was like, I think there was a pin drop. Would you share it?
Yeah. When I was giving that talk, the message was from the other side of the stage. And I have this way, I don't know if you call it like a double entendre, right? Where you take one word, but there's like a double meaning around it. I might have gotten that wrong, and if I did, delete that. But the idea was this idea from the other side of the stage. Now, I've been a speaker since I was 19 years old. I've literally been on stages. I have, if you look at my first Instagram post, you'll see me at 19. And we're going to circle back to that because it's going to be important to this conversation. But I started at 19, and I knew that I was meant to speak about something. But it wasn't until later on in my adult years that actually grew into something that I actually wanted to speak about that I didn't want to talk about, which was about sexual abuse, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was 6 years old, I went through an experience where my mom had a friend, and this friend crossed the boundary with me. And she was older, she had kids, and what it did was that it tripped up my wires, right? And it wasn't until one day I was sitting in a school auditorium, and there was this counselor that came, and I was 9 years old, and she starts to talk about this stuff, and all of a sudden I'm sitting in my seat, and I'm reliving everything. For 3 years, I buried it. I didn't talk about it, didn't have anything how to share it. And so I just shut down around it. So as I'm sharing that message, the whole idea of the other side of the stage was my greatest impact as a speaker of over 29 years wasn't speaking from stage. It was actually sitting in the audience. It was actually hearing somebody who had something to say. And why that's so important is because we think as speakers, we almost forget the impact that we make on the people sitting in the audience. We want to go up there and do a performance. It's not about your performance. It's about your purpose. And if you know why you're up on that stage, and like I told in that day, I said, I don't know if that woman realized what she did. She freaking changed my life. I don't know if she was like, you know what, today I'm going to take off. You know what, I don't want to work. But because she showed up, my life was changed. So the whole point of that message was from the other side of the stage. It's the person who's sitting down, and you and I as speakers, and those who are speakers, that you don't realize the impact you have because you're not looking at it from the other side of the stage. You're only looking at it from the platform and not the seat. What does it mean to look at it from that perspective? Think about how our lives got changed. We listened to somebody. Somebody spoke to us. Somebody said something. We might have been sitting in a mastermind. We might have been at a conference. We might have been in a coaching session. Whatever. It was really from the other side. And so I wanted to give a different perspective and share my story from a whole different angle. And it actually worked out. It's the first time I ever shared that message that way.
It was powerful, man. I liked it. It was because it was authentic. It was real and raw. People love that. It's the hero's journey. Did you go through any therapy or any stuff?
Yeah, I sure did, man. My therapist has made a lot of money off me.
Look at him.
My therapist made a lot of money off me.
If you're watching this on Spotify or YouTube, he just got all clammy.
I got spirit fingers. Yeah, you know what? I did. And it started when I realized that I had a sex addiction. And when I realized I had a sex addiction and I had to go down that road, I had to get healthy. I had to deal with a lot of the stuff that I buried. When I started to deal with the betrayal of a best friend and get therapy for it, those are the things that really woke me up. I'm grateful for therapy. I'm grateful for faith community. I'm grateful for all the stuff that I've gone through. They say, wow, you shouldn't have any regrets in life. I have some regrets. And there are some things that I don't regret because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if those things weren't there. But also there are some things that I probably, I don't need to jump off, we're here at a very high level here in this place, right? I don't need to jump off the balcony to realize it's going to hurt. Yeah, I can eye it from here and realize it's probably not going to be good. So there were some things in my life that I wish I didn't need to go through. And bringing all that to a place of value and understanding where I'm raising kids now, I'm 18 years married, all of that makes a big difference, with who I am today.
I always giggle when people say I have no regrets. Man, we all have regrets. You
hell yeah.
have no regrets. You didn't live, man. Because I'll tell you what, some of the regrets that I have were some of the funnest stories. But they were learning. As long as you learn from them. I mean, I guess that where it comes in with the no regrets. Let's 100%. talk about your speaking. Because, by the way, do you have the ability to transport yourself into other people's bodies? Because that's what I heard. I have that ability. It's what made me good in sales. I've been a salesperson my entire life, and I can sit in each one of these shoes and embody who you are and what you need to hear.
You just said the key word, embody. Yes. I use that word religiously.
How do you do that?
I think...
Let me rephrase that. How does our audience embody other people? It's like empathy, compassion. How do you get in their body to be able to make an impact?
Yeah. I think you have to move past the feelings and more into the facts. What makes you and I similar? Not different. What do you have that I have? When I hit on those common themes and those threads, all of a sudden I find that we're all alike. We all want the same thing. We all strive for the same goals. It just looks different. We're all packaged differently. And so when I embody something, I really feel what it is that I feel like that. Like, we're spirit beings, right?
You're giving me the tingles, right? You're giving me the tingles.
I told you, see, that's why my hands are going like that.
Because I say that a lot. If those who follow me hear me, that united we stand, divided we fall. And I say, we do this communication thing the wrong way. We start with the things that we don't agree on. Uh-huh. And then I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm rich, I'm poor. And then you start, you're human.
Exactly.
And I want you to win.
Right.
You want me to win.
Right.
We want to be happy.
But we've always struggled with humanity since, the first fall of man is you put two perfect, people are like, man, if this world was only perfect. I'm like, did you read the Bible? Put two perfect people in the garden and what do? they screw it up. Like we're gonna screw this thing up, right? And so ideally, I feel like when we come from the place where we're not afraid to talk about our screw ups, I think what helps us to embody people is the transparency level. Are you transparent? When somebody tells me, "Oh, I struggle with imposter syndrome," I'm like, "Oh, you just don't know how to be transparent." That's what it is.
I always laugh when I hear the imposter syndrome. Like, how do you not be an imposter? I always say, don't be one.
Yeah.
Is that simple? Just don't be one.
But the question is, how long have you been one? Because if you've been one, then you haven't been you. That's the question.
Wow. You just stripped my armor off. And that's what you're supposed to do. Like, if you can flip that around and say, why don't you be you? You haven't been you.
You haven't been you.
Be you.
So to me, I always saw an imposter. I'm old school. I'm 48 years old, right? So, imposter to me was somebody like this, like corny word back in the day, like someone who walked around with a mask and like a trench coat and like, ooh, like that's what the cartoon made an imposter feel like, right? And when you say imposter, I'm like, oh, so you don't like what you see. You don't like what you hear. Nobody really knows you. Is that a syndrome? Is that what it is? Like, what is it? Because when people say I have a fear, perfect example. Oh, I had a client yesterday. She's telling me, oh, I have a fear. I said, no. I said, what's the fear? Label it. Call it out. What is the fear?
Yeah.
Or I have a fear of this. And I said, well, so now that you know what it is, it's not a fear of the unknown, right? She goes, true. I said, then why do you keep presenting it to me like you don't know what it is? What do you do when you have a fear? You address it. That's courage is facing.
If you want to, if you
right.
want, if you want to win, learn.
I mean, if you want, right? The definition that I learned for the word courage was facing your fears head on. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, so how do we get you some courage? How do we get you some confidence? How do we get you some structure, some strategy, some systems? To me, I never take anything. My son said this to me today. He said to me, Dad, who's a better basketball player, Kobe or LeBron? I said, depends. He goes, I hate when you do that. He goes, just tell me who it is. I said, depends. Are you saying the best shooting guard? The best power forward? The best dribbler? I said, to me, if you're saying the greatest of all time, because I'm from Chicago, it's Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
That's the greatest of all time.
Well, why was he the greatest of all time? Because he made everybody around him better.
Yes. And he changed the game.
Yeah.
Kobe copied the game.
LeBron
just took the game out longer, but he didn't change the game.
Yeah, it's hands down Kobe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Between those two,
because the guy, he just worked harder than everybody else. And but I'm from Detroit, and I hate to admit it. I hate to admit it, the Jordan rules, but I would tell you that I remember going to see Jordan. And I was like, this is the greatest basketball player.
You guys gave
ever.
us 6 championships. Thank you.
Yeah, we made him tough. The 3 times we ousted him, and then it
was you guys who did it.
Yeah, it was. But that's the story of life, isn't it, Benny?
Yeah.
You struggle and you struggle and you struggle, and then you pivot. And it wasn't until they said, hey, we're not going to beat him this way. They went out and had 3 first-round draft picks, and then said, oh, we're going to beat him at their own game. And then they did.
Absolutely.
And then they went on and said, well, they would have had 6 in a row if it wasn't for.
We would have had 8 in a row. Stop it. Stop it.
What was
Stop it. We would have had 8 in a row. Jordan's
gambling.
The gambling. The baseball. Yeah, we would have had 8 in a row.
You're from Chicago and you ended up in South Florida.
I moved. Yeah, interesting story. So I grew up in Chicago, one of the roughest gang areas in Chicago, Humboldt Park. We moved around it quite a bit.
Humboldt.
Humboldt. Humboldt. Humboldt Park was one of the birthplaces of the Latin Kings. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So where I lived on the street, literally, there was. So the way, I don't know if you know anything about Chicago.
Oh, it's my favorite city in the world.
So Chicago, the way it is each street could represent a gang area. It's literally mapped out, right? Mm-hmm.
This is the south side of Chicago, right?
North side.
North side.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I know where you're at. By Wrigley, up by Wrigley?
South of Wrigley and west of Lakeshore.
Oof.
Yeah. Okay. So Wrigley's that's a walk in the park. My high school was over there. I had to go to that high school, not far from Wrigley, because my neighborhood high school had too many gangs and I had to cross too many streets. and neighborhoods on bus, and I just wasn't going to do it. So I would rather travel 45 minutes on the bus, a whole different direction, than 5 minutes down the street, because it was too dangerous. And so if you know anything about Chicago, the way it's set up is these neighborhoods are just very dangerous. And so growing up in that environment, you know, my mom kept us out of the streets. I was a skateboarder. I was a basketball player. I got into performing arts. We did everything we had to do to not get involved in that, right? But yeah, that was interesting. That's how I ended up here. I got involved in ministry. I was a very young youth. I got involved in youth.
What haven't you been involved in?
Man, bro, I'm 48 years old. I'm talking about like I've been going hard since I was in my teenage years, right? At 19, started speaking, realized I had a gift and ability to reach people. I was invited to speak. I went to Rochester. I went to Dorchester. I spoke, got paid, and I was like, man, this is part of my DNA. But when I was in the performing arts, I realized it prepared me early for the stage. So years later, when I call my speaking platform Center Stage, started as a 12-year-old. Why that's so synonymous is my son is 12 years old and just did a TEDx talk on a stage.
That's awesome.
12 years old. My son killed it. There's something about when you parent where you kind of live life all over again through a whole different lens.
I would tell you, Benny, and this is full disclosure. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
you.
go for it.
That was such a good story, but I'm going to tell you this. I got to live my childhood the right way through my daughter.
Yeah.
Because I grew up rough, and I got my butt kicked. I was abused, flat out. And there were times that when I just have a dinner with my daughter, just a simple dinner where we're sitting here talking and I'm holding space for her, that I would just start crying, because that's all I want. All little 100%. Kelly wanted. So everything that I wanted, I get to reparent my inner child. And I tell her, I share it with her, and she loves it. And she's 17 now, or 16 to be 17 in a month. We're this close.
Yeah.
And watching them succeed, that's legacy.
100%.
Because I was the one that stopped the cycle of abuse, never put a hand on her, barely raised my voice to her.
Yeah.
And all I got to do is look at her and go, and she just knows the look.
That's
it. And but that's the best thing in the world. And I believe God gave me a girl for a reason.
Yeah.
You're talking about sex addict. I was a drunken whore. There was a woman that I didn't love.
Yeah.
And they gave me a little girl, and I went, I can't be this. I can't do it. So she is my why. And I see that about you. What was his talk on again? The bouncing the ball, the ball.
So interesting. So my son had he plays basketball, right? Mm-hmm. And I became the head coach of his team, right? So this is why Coach Benny. What can I do, right? So I become the team, and we kill it. We go 11-0 and win the whole season. Oh, this is my first youth coach. I was like, yo, this is a piece of cake, right? I'm like, I got this. So this is my son's real first team, and he's like, Dad, we won the whole thing. And we crushed the league. We literally crushed these kids, right? So then the summer comes along, and we play in the summer league. We go 11-0 in one season, and my son is pumped, ready to come in. He's got his new Lukas on, his new Ja Morant, and then he goes 0-11. Doesn't win one game. I'm not the head coach. There's another guy who's a coach. And I remember each and every game, my son, his head was down. As a father, it's not just like, all right, son, get over it. I'm like, how do I empower my son to realize that he's still great, even though the outcome wasn't?
It's the best thing that could have ever happened.
Right?
The duality.
It was the best thing.
Duality.
You know, and during the time, he hadn't finished the season, but then I got asked, would your son do a TEDx talk? And I knew instantly what he could talk about. And I was like, I hope they don't win this game this season.
Did he want to quit?
Huh?
Did he want to quit?
He wanted to quit. He cried. I saw him have to look at his own mistakes and learn from them. And here's the thing. He went on one team where he was the third option to score to now being really the only option to score. And a team full of kids who hadn't figured out how to win together yet. And so when we ended the season, we're already thinking about, okay, what is he going to talk about? I said, "What? We need to talk about this basketball season." He goes, "Yeah, I know." I said, "What did you learn from it?" He goes, "I learned how to have a winning mindset in a losing season." It's my 11-year-old son.
Wow.
At the end of this, we'll probably watch the YouTube. I want you guys to see the YouTube video because it's unreal. I've watched it up 100 times. I'm blown away. I said, okay, so I do my Benny thing because I work with a lot of folks and I know how to help them get to their message. I said, what if we call this when the ball doesn't bounce your way? I said, that's a life lesson that people learn regardless if you're 12 or not. And that's what we went with. That was the title of his TEDx talk, was When the Ball Doesn't Bounce Your Way. And he delivered that thing, man. Unreal.
What was his central message?
His central message was that there were 3 lessons that he learned. And those 3 lessons were, one was to accept the challenge, to adjust your mindset, and to appreciate support. That if he was ever going to, his intro is crazy because he comes out on stage, and if you've ever seen it, been on a TEDx stage, there's a big red dot.
Yes,
he steps on the dot and he goes he puts his hand out to reach for the ball, and they throw it behind him and he misses. And his first words are, "So what do you do when the ball doesn't bounce your way? Or when you can't seem to get a handle on life?" That whole audience was silent. He spoke to everybody. I don't care if you were 70 or if you were 7 years old. He spoke to everybody. And to me, you used the word legacy earlier on, and why legacy is so important to me is because legacy doesn't start at the end of your life. It starts when somebody else's begins. Legacy doesn't start when your life ends. It starts when someone else's begins. And usually, so my son, my legacy with him now, most people would never see their son do this. I get to see my son do it at age 12.
So proud of him.
Yeah, unreal.
The number one fear is public speaking.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. I don't know. I could think of some, like drowning would be one of mine. And I'm not a big failure guy. I don't like to fail. I know, but how did you overcome that with him?
So there's a saying that I have, and you heard me say it there. I said, people don't fear public speaking more than they fear the public speaking.
Explain.
People don't fear public speaking more than they fear the public speaking. The biggest fear we have is not what we're going to say. It's what others are going to say about us. It's criticism, acceptance, rejection.
Why is that?
Think about it. We have a fear of people issue, and then we say it's public speaking. It's the stupidest thing I've heard. What? People who say this to me, I go on their Instagram and their TikTok, I'm like, dude, you can't shut up. What are you talking about? It's not public speaking. It's the fear of the public speaking. It's the fear that others... See, here's the thing. When we give people that kind of power, now it strips us. So my son, right after his TEDx talk, and then I'm going to go to how I helped him. He said, my classmates are coming up to me. They're starting to annoy me. He goes, they're doing the thing that I did on my TEDx talk to me. I said, do you know that mockery is the highest form of flattery? He says, well, what do you mean, Dad? I said, they know your stuff so much that they keep coming to you and telling you about it. I said, son, let me teach you something real quick. I said, you got to learn how to get tough skin. People are going to make fun of you. People are going to laugh at you. People are going to doubt you. People are going to try to say things about you to you, your own words. I said, you know what you do? You just accept it. I said, these kids aren't trying to hurt you. I said, but I want you to understand something. I said, the fact that they know your content, good job. Good job. How I helped my son overcome his fear of public speaking, I got to tell you, I got to be honest with you. My wife gave him the tools before I gave him the techniques. My wife's a therapist.
I'm not surprised, bro.
She's a therapist, right?
So who else got to be with you?
Yeah, I mean, she's a therapist. So my wife, very early on, she said, we're going to let our kids have their voice. Because I said so and just do what I say doesn't work. We have to let them express their voice. It drives me crazy.
How do you do that though?
I think as a parent, it's always like I have my way, and I'm learning as a father always to seek to understand before I can be understood. That's a principle. Also to listen at a higher level, not just what they're saying, but what they're not saying. The fact that he's had this, my son's a master negotiator, by the way. He is a negotiator. I'm like, dude, he just is relentless. That's why I knew he could accept this challenge when it was given to me. I said yes before he did. I said, oh, he's going to do it. Don't worry about it. Are you sure? Yeah, don't worry about it. I got him. So when we started to talk about it, and I think this goes for any speaker when you're preparing, if you're talking about something that is real and authentic, it's really not that hard. What you need more than that is more aesthetics. How do I present? How do I pause? How do I use tonality and reflection? How do I use humor? How do I dip into the emotion without dipping out of the conversation? Right? All those things. And so what we did is we first scripted out his message. I said, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about this. All right, what are 3 lessons that you learned? I learned these 3 lessons. What do you want to give? What do you hope that someone gets from this? I hope they get this. And then I went to work and I scripted it out for him. I scripted it out for him. I said, all right, son, here it is. Let's practice it. Now take the highlighter and mark it. What you like, what you don't like. I don't like this. I don't like this. And then we did an open mic virtually. It's a virtual open mic. And he shared his message in front of 20 people. It's the first time I ever heard him speak, and he killed it. And I'm sitting there looking at, I'm watching the screen because he's doing it virtually. And then I go into the camera and I go, he killed it, right? And they were like, you killed it, man. And so much that from that first talk that he did before he went on stage, they said, we would like to consider you for TEDx Education. TEDx Education is a whole other platform. Okay? It's crazy, stuff. Bro.
What I heard you say is prepare. And this is going to feed you in anything. If you're a janitor, a police officer, a social worker, prepare. It's practice makes the master. It's the plan to fail or fail to plan to fail. Mm-hmm. So whatever we're talking about speaking, but this is anything in life. And I just, it's funny. I want to tell you this. I haven't said this to anybody. I have been turned down. I've been on 1 million stages. I've been turned down for 4 or 5 different TEDx's.
It's that easy.
You want to laugh? I know why. And
I've been turned down for 3. Don't worry.
I know why in my head because I'm not ready. The message. I just gave a speech that I was closer to the message that's more authentic to me.
Yeah.
And I just told my producer today, I'm like, I'm working on moving some energy through my nervous system because there's still something holding me back.
Yep.
So this is God saying, Kelly, keep practicing.
Keep practicing.
So I have 2 speeches that 2026 is the year I'm going to get it. I'm putting this out there right now because I have 2. One is the founding fathers speech that I just gave. How I said we all have the inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I say it's the pursuit of life, the pursuit of liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I gave it, and it tore the friggin' place down. And from there, I heard a lot of talk about fear. So I'm going to do another one. It's Face Your Fears and Live Your Dreams. Those are 2 keynotes I'm going to give all next year. And one of those 2 are going to be my TEDx talk. Watch. And it was, I love it. I had to get a better message and be more in alignment. And so again, I just making the point, practice.
Well, yeah.
And it's not our time. It's not on our time. It's on God's time.
There's 3 P's that we talk about in public speaking.
Ooh.
And one of them is practice, prepare, perform. Practice, prepare, perform. The 3 P's of public speaking. When you said yes, when you asked me to be on the podcast, that's part of my assignment to continue growing as a speaker. I said, of course. This is a stage. Your workshop, your webinar, it's a stage. It's a virtual stage. Your keynote is a stage. Your presentation, your lunch and learn, it's a stage. Your mastermind, it's a stage. Your networking, it's a stage. People don't understand how to use their stages the right way.
Ooh, do tell.
So if you understand that there's many different variations of who we are as speakers. There's the educator, there's the innovator, there's the creative, there's the teacher, there's the motivational person, there's the inspiring person. There's all of these different elements. The moment you tap into all those, see, that's the thing, I've tapped into it already. I've struck gold because I understood my core message. I understood why I put on this earth. I understand what I'm meant to talk about, to help people speak more, for them to step into their stage, their story, and their spotlight. And I do that flawlessly over a period of time because I've done it so many times. I've been rejected for TEDx stages, but I'm gonna circle back around to it because there's an interesting thing that I mentioned earlier, that on my first Instagram post, I had a picture of me at 19 speaking. And so one day I wanted to do a timeline just to like.
I saw you showed.
Yeah, you showed it, right? I think I was just bored. I was like, I need to put something on Instagram, right?
You got handsomer, by the way. You got much more handsome now.
Yeah, it was 19. It said 1996, 2006, 2016, and then 2026. It was just a random number. And I put speak it into existence. And then if you look at the timestamp on the post, it was November 2020. A year or two prior, I had coached Lamar Odom to speak on a stage. And Lamar Odom was at the time was going through an amazing transformation. And he was still in this process, but he was going through an amazing transformation. And so I took a picture of the stage that I was a part of the team that helped him to speak on. And I posted that as the 2026, just because that just felt like the right image. I post that picture and I said, by 2026, I'm going to speak on that stage. Mm-hmm. I moved out of the area. That was in Miramar. I moved out of the area because I moved to Port St. Lucie and I lived in Pembroke Pines. But I wanted to get on the TEDx stage. So I go to the TEDx Boca and I was like, listen, first of all, I was like, yo, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to get this woman's attention to get on her stage, right? She says, well, then volunteer. Just volunteer. I said, I'm a volunteer. I volunteer and I end up meeting the organizer for that stage in Miramar. That's the stage my son spoke on.
Oh.
You ready for this? At the end of that, and it's gonna come out soon, my son told me, Dad, in 2026, you're speaking on this stage.
Are you booked for it yet?
Yes.
Don't mess with you. God's on your plan.
But you know what's crazy?
The whole thing.
I manifested the whole thing because that's the image that I put up there for 2026.
Go into the manifestation.
Yeah.
It's such a big word, right?
I know, it's weird. It's kooky. Here's what I believe. To manifest anything, right? If you want to manifest success and wealth, there's an element of work. It's not just waiting. Mm-hmm. It's not about you waiting around. It's you working towards something. So if I want to manifest something, everything I do has to be in alignment. If I don't follow Cindy, right, who's a TEDx Boca person, and go, you know how I got her attention because I pulled up to an event she posted. I was like, you know what? Damn it, I'm in Boca. I'm going to go show up. I just showed up.
There's your advice right there. Just show up.
Just show up. So I show up to that. Then I find out she's got the TEDx Boca event. And I'm a little irritated because, bro, I've sent her message after message after message. I don't think she read any of them. I was so pissed. But I go and I volunteer. I'm manifesting. Why? I'm one step closer. I am not there yet, but I'm in it, right? Now I'm at the event. Now I'm volunteering at the event. Now I get the organizer's name. Now I get my son on the stage. And what happens? I didn't manifest it because I wished it. I manifested it because I worked for it. And most people, why they don't get the result is because they stop working towards things. And so nothing ever will manifest that way.
Yeah, you can't just dream.
So I think a big part of manifestation that oftentimes gets lost is that you have to have a vision for what you want to manifest. You got to have a plan. You got to have a strategy and watch it come to fruition.
Is this a part of the three core essentials that you talk about for confidence with the mindset, skill set, and tool set?
That's I think that's all the components, but in a nutshell, it's the why, what, and who.
Why, what, and who? Why?
So I figured out, I said, what was the easiest way I can get someone to build confidence as a speaker?
Speak.
Right? Well, yeah, but speak about why do you want to speak? What do you want to speak on? And who do you want to speak to? Why do you want to speak? Because if you don't know why, you're just talking. Why do you want to speak? What's pulling you? What pulls me? What pulls you to do this? Is you have value. I have something. I have a solution. I have an idea. I have an offer. You have to have that, right? You have to have a why, a reason, a purpose for your existence. Then it's what? What do you want to speak about? Well, I want to speak about this. Now, who do you want to speak to? Do you know how many people I see speaking to the wrong audience all the time?
True. We do it once
all the time. And you're like, well, why don't I get results? That's the first question you didn't ask. You probably got your why wrong. So I look at it and say, well, there were three. What was the most simplistic way somebody could begin speaking is to figure out, why do I want to speak? What do I want to speak on? And who do I want to speak to? I've taken that and have spoken on stages, keynotes, in front of 700 people, in front of, I've delivered webinars on this. I've delivered it in every different format. But to me, the three core essentials, I don't think I'll ever get away from that.
We all could cut from the same cloth. So by the way, you guys are getting a master class on business. This is all applies to business. You figure out the what and the why and the how will appear. That's manifestation. The what and the why and the how will appear. And he threw it in there, the who. What, why, and who. Who can help me do this? What do I want to do? Why do I want to do it? Who can help me? You figure out those three things, the how will work itself out.
I love the who, because if you switch the word who or how am I going to get it done? And you just scramble it around, you get the word who, right? Same letters. And I tell people, you're asking the wrong question when you ask how. It's who can help me get it done? Yeah. Who do I need? What circles I need to be in? I told you earlier, we were just at this mastermind mixer that we did here in South Florida. And I told everybody, do you realize in this room, everybody that you need for a successful 2026 is one connection away right here in this room? And so it's so important to know who can help me? Who do I need to speak to? Who needs my service? Who am I trying to reach? How is more about the confusion. Who is more about the curiosity? There's a whole saying that I have around that curiosity will absolutely cure confusion.
Curiosity will cure confusion. Remember when I used to say as a kid, curiosity killed the cat?
Yep.
And you said it the other way. I like that. I was just at an event in New York where I spoke last weekend, and somebody said, just ask and receive. And it reminded me of, I used to always ask, and lately I forget to ask people. That's why I just asked you, who else should I know here? And you're like, oh, choose. And it's like, oh, and then it just keeps, life is a gift. It just keeps giving. So
100%.
I want to talk about speaking a little bit more because it fascinates me. And we talked about the different types of speakers, and I've seen a lot of them, and Ed is one of the ones where you walk away and you
powerful
feel,
speaker.
Ooh, he just knows how to hold a room. So what separates a speaker who informs to one that transforms?
So I think part of it is, are you just trying to inspire people with information or empower them to get the information for themselves? I think it's all about, what do you envision for that person? Anytime that I speak, I am so connected to my story. So one, I think an authentic story creates transformation. You got to have an authentic story. And here's the thing, some people suck at storytelling, man. I'm like, oh my God, hurry up, right? You can have a story without a message, but you cannot have a message without a story. How many times do you hear someone give a story and you're like, what the hell did they just say? What was the message here?
A lot,
right?
I'm like,
You don't remember the message because it's an art form. It's a strategy. It's a structure. It's. So when I was helping my son, this is a perfect example. When I was helping my son with his talk, I told him, he wrote everything out, and then I said, say it through. I didn't want to correct anything. I said, just talk it through. All right. He talked through his message, 7 minutes. And then I said, I want you to go back and highlight each area and what emotion you're feeling. Sad, this, that. I said, now speak it in that emotion.
Man. Guys, this is important when you're in business too, because that's when you're giving a presentation.
People pay me a lot of money just to say that right there. I'm serious. Yeah. Some people don't know how to embody the emotion. Yeah. And they're disconnected from their message.
And you got to watch your face, your expression. You can't smile when you're saying something brutal.
Right.
And you can't be sad when you're saying something happy.
And that's the artistry of speaking, right? Speaking is an art form. And so I've listened to tons of people. People are like, well, who inspires you? You know who inspires me? Me.
The old you.
Yeah. Understanding my story. Now I pick up things from preachers. I pick up things from politicians. I pick up things from influencers. You pick those things up. But who inspires me the most is me. I know my story better than anybody else. Now I get to tell it. So I don't worry. I don't get caught up on other speakers. Do you know how many times, and I know this is going to go live, but
Shit. I'm going to shut off the recording.
How many times I'll meet another speaker and I would just see their insecurity all over their face. Ooh. I'm like, bro, you don't know how to hang with another alpha. Come on, man.
Do you find that gets you disinvited or ostracized?
No, it gets me unfollowed.
Good, right? Good, right?
Listen, when I did my own event, have you done your own event?
Not yet.
When you do, watch how many people unfollow you.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because they think they should have been on your stage.
Should have? I don't know anything about
should.
You know how many of my good friends have at events and didn't invite me to speak?
Yeah.
I don't take any of that personal.
Right.
It just is what it is.
Yeah. But what I mean is that if you ever want to push somebody away, just believe in yourself a little bit more. People who...
You're right, but we got to inspire people.
Right, yes. But what I'm saying to you is it's not about you inspiring people. It's the reality of the situation that people don't know how to handle your power.
Say more.
They don't know how to handle your power. When I saw you the first time, I was like, man, I want to get to know that guy. He's got something that I need to learn from. He's been through life. Then I watch your videos, how disciplined you are. I'm like, damn, that guy's got this. That doesn't push me away. It should pull me in.
Right. Preach.
Right. But some people, because they want what you have and they haven't discovered it for themselves, get intimidated and they unfollow you for no freaking reason. And I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off.
I said yesterday, I posted this. I said, I'm either going to inspire you or I'm going to intimidate you. You get to choose.
That's it. That's exactly what I mean. So for me, when I see another man or woman in their superpower, bro, listen, the Avengers gave us the greatest blueprint. They said, be your own boss in your universe. But when we come together, we're the Avengers. We're a team.
Ooh, the Avengers. That's good.
We're a superpower. Some people don't know how to handle that because they don't know how to share their verse. They don't know how to share their world. They think it's all about them. And one thing I work really hard at doing is putting people first. You will never lose by putting other people first.
Is that how you bring people with you?
Absolutely.
Let me give you a for instance. So this year I smashed my personal goals and I struggled to make my team goals. I took full responsibility for this. I didn't communicate. What could I have done in the Benny Salas coaching to bring my team? Now, we didn't severely underperform. We just barely missed.
So in the coaching space, right? So I do a lot of coaching for business owners and organizations. One of the things that I look at is oftentimes is the communication. There are 4 types of communication styles.
Oh, gold here, right here.
Right? Thinker, feeler, intuitor, and sensor. I do a whole assessment on this. You and I should talk. I'll do one for you and your team. Okay? It's understanding these personality styles. The tough part is when we think our goals fit somebody else. No, you have to coach them around their goals, their superpowers, what makes them move, what's going to make them get up and start to grow and build and develop. And so oftentimes we want people to catch it when they need to be taught it. And so we keep throwing it at them. Here, catch it, catch it, catch it. They can't. They have to be taught it. They have to learn to embody it. They have to learn to create ownership around it. And there's a difference between partnership and ownership. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to collaborate with people and partner, but they haven't owned it. Because when you own your stuff, it's different.
This is a masterclass, guys. Keep going.
Right? Okay, I think every leader has to, if they're in thought leadership, they have to find their formula. This plus this equals this.
I'm just letting you go because you are nailing
the
it.
formula. So I think you have to find what is your team's winning formula. What is this plus this plus this equal this? right? This is our leadership mantra. This is our leadership formula. This is how we grow and how we build. And you're right, we can crush it. I've been there before where I've crushed it and I felt like my team wasn't doing it and I had to take responsibility and be like, that's on me.
This is the first year that I took this one hard.
Yeah.
And I called the last remaining part of the year transition season.
Yeah.
So like when you're running a marathon, not a marathon, when you're running a relay race, how you have that little transition period where you're handing the baton. I said, okay, we're going to punt. We're going to miss our year. And we're going to punt on this year, but we're going to use this last 6 weeks so that January 1st comes, we're running full sprint.
Yeah.
And everybody bought in. And then I also realized that this is the best piece of advice I can give anybody. Not everybody's going to make it to the end with you.
Yep.
I realized that a lot of my team at my IT company, I hired when I was way before I started personal development. I'm not that dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that inspired. And they were all, I was in scarcity and fear. So all my team was looking for me for scarcity and fear. And I've grown and I've become abundant and loving. And so I sit back and I expect them to do the same. And I give them the freedom and they're looking for me to further direction. I'm like, guys,
right.
I'm no longer
we're looking for this leader, but I'm this one.
And you remember too, when you do something that you're leading with in fear, you're holding everybody back and you're the bottleneck.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what I went through. And I had realized I had to do the hard thing and I had to change my team. We've completely revamped it and I'm making a couple of acquisitions and it was hard.
Yeah.
You know, all these things that people tell you, man, it's
well, I mean, I think the past few years have been tough, right? I mean, in general, there's been so much change. Like, I think you have to give, like, I think that the hardest part to do is to give yourself grace in the midst of an ever-changing market, culture, economy.
I've been hearing this grace so much.
I know, man. I know you think it makes you a pansy or something, right?
No, I know. You know what I always think of, laughing, because I'm a funny guy. I always think of the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Grace died 40 years ago, and it's like the blessing. So when I hear grace, and I've been saying it a lot to myself, and I've been saying, stop being so freaking hard on yourself. One of my coaches said to me, he's like, well, you're harder than life, and he was meaning it to be a joke. And I'm like, oh, I'd wake up every morning and I'd manifest what's going to be hard today.
Yeah.
And because of the name, I got to be hard in life. I got to do 500 workouts. Yeah. I got to embody.
Well, maybe sometimes the thing that's harder than life is to actually just be gracious to yourself.
Drop the microphone, man. Get out of my house.
I think that's the hardest thing. I think that is the hardest thing to do.
Bro, you just hit me right in the heart. You're right.
I think the hardest thing to do, listen, we are so hard on ourselves all the time. That's easy.
I want to run to the other room right now.
It's easy.
When you're right, you're right.
But to slow down and to be grace, to show grace to yourself and realize, hey, I still got room to grow. I still got room to learn. How many men and leaders don't pause long enough to realize they're going down a destructive road but you saw it, owned it, and said, all right, let me have a little bit of grace here. It's been an adjustment. I'm not the same person. Our team has changed. That's wisdom.
Well, I'm 50, so I finally got smart.
Yeah.
But talk about that pause a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk about the pause, because you've been hearing the power of the pause. Just, when you're in fear and lack, you feel like you have to do something all the time. And that's where I always was. Now I'm like, ooh. And I've learned, he keeps telling me, slow down. Yeah. You know what? Tim Story gave me that advice. He said,
I love Tim, man.
Did you see what he did at that event, by the way?
Which one?
At the event where we met. He bolted off stage. He came right to me and grabbed me. He's like, who are you? And we've been friends ever since.
I love that.
And he just is like, he's like, I watched everything you do.
Yeah.
And it caught me off guard.
Whatever that day was you were doing, it attracted me too.
Man, I was just happy to be there. And here we are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, this is when we needed to meet.
Yeah.
Because it's better here in person,
100%.
your energy, your handsomeness, the gray in your beard.
You like that? A little salt and pepper?
You look handsome. You look handsome.
40's coming in strong.
Let's bring this thing home.
Yeah. So when I
pause.
think pause, right, I'm old school, right? So I remember VCRs. Some of y'all may not know what that means. That is not a disease. It is a machine where you just put this tape in, but the VCR used to hit the pause button. It was usually the biggest. I felt like it was one of the biggest buttons, and I feel like in life, we have to hit that button. I think as a father, I have to hit that button. As a business owner, I have to hit that button. As a speaker, I have to hit that button. As a human, I have to hit that button. Because I think pausing just allows us to reflect. I think we're so conditioned to go at the speed of light, and we don't ever pause. It's like there have been times where I've driven to a place and I knew the route, but I don't remember how I got there. And I show up and I'm like, what was I? Was I blacked out? What was I? I didn't pause enough just to enjoy the scenery. I don't know how much longer God will have me on this earth. I'll be for another 30, 40 more years. But I got to learn to pause because I have a 6-year-old. I have a 12-year-old. I have relationships that I want to build. I have things that I want to fulfill. And so I think the power of the pause is really us just not only slowing down, but being still. Being still. Be still. And I think there's a scripture that says, in Proverbs that says, be still and know that I'm God. I think in scripture, it's the word Selah, right? If you ever read Proverbs, it says Selah. The author is writing something and then he's saying, pause. Pause. And there's those moments where the older I've gotten, the more I appreciate the opportunity to pause. See, because at life I've been chasing success. I've been chasing a period of time. I was chasing the wrong addiction. I was chasing significance and importance. And so to pause for the right things now, I'm okay with.
When you pause, it'll catch you.
Exactly.
I put in my second book, Happier Than Life, was the 3 S's, the power of the 3 S's: stillness, silence, and solitude.
Ooh, that's good.
The stillness, that all is really pause. Stillness, silence. And the person who told me that said that's, if God were to hide the secret to life, he'd put it under 3 S's. And I'm like, because none of us do it. It's hard.
It is.
It's harder than life. So good. I grabbed my phone because I said this in the last one, but I wrote this down. Some heard it this week. Be quick. Don't be in a hurry. You'll miss something and make mistakes. I find myself looking around and enjoying the scenery. If you look at my Instagram story this morning, I posted the sunrise. I just jumped up and looked. I don't know what it is because I'm like you. I'm going to be 50 here by the time this airs. I'm more than likely halfway done with my life. And every time I see a sunrise or a sunset, I lived another day.
Absolutely.
And I'm grateful for that shit because there was times when I was in my muck, I didn't know. I don't even think I cared if I woke up the next day.
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't be here doing this, paying it forward. So
I think waking up in the morning is probably one of the best things. I wake up with a whole sense of energy because I'm like, man, I get to live another day. And there's a scripture, right? That I always infuse scripture in my life.
I love him.
I mean, I drop a few F-bombs here and there, but because it says his mercies are new every morning. It says God's mercies are new every morning.
And if you pause, you'll get it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Remember, grace and mercy are not things you can earn. They're not based on merit. They're based on God's goodness.
Grace and mercy is something. That's heavy.
Yeah. You can't earn it. You and I can't be good enough for it.
You just have to choose it.
You have to accept it.
Accept it.
Yeah. You have to accept it. And that's one of the hardest.
And allow it.
Yeah. And that's one of the hardest things to do because if you don't accept yourself, you'll never accept what somebody has for you.
I just said this to my girlfriend. This is what's blocking me right now.
Yeah.
Acceptance and allowing. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah. No.
What would you say to the version of you who didn't believe your voice mattered?
That version of me was addressed very early on when I was 6 years old, right? So when my offender told me, if you ever tell your parents, they'll be mad at you. Think about what that meant for me as a speaker.
Right? Authenticity?
Yeah. So for me, I had to, when I raised my hand and told the teacher, hey, I need to go to the counselor's office because that person just spoke in the assembly, spoke to me. That was me taking my power back at age 9.
Give me the chills, brother.
Man, that was me at age 9.
9.
And so I think the version of me, and I at times I've struggled. You know, when I went through my sex addiction, or I have a talk on YouTube called Shame on Me. You got to watch it.
I got to watch this.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. I talk about the shame I dealt with as a man. And shame is hard because we don't ever, I tend to think this, and it's probably going to be one of those comments where you'd be like, Benny, shut up. Right?
Never.
I think men are way more emotional than women.
Oh, I agree. Dude.
Way more. And like tough guys like, nah, bro, no. I'm like, see how emotional you're getting? Look at, you just proved my point. But
yeah, we go to the soft emotions.
Oh yeah. And we use anger and success and brute and force and humor and joking and as all cover-ups. And I had to address that, right? Because I was never going to be able to speak from a place of authenticity. I never have to worry if I'm going to show up because I am who I am and I show up as that person. I don't have to get ready because I am ready. I'm who I am. And so I think that something that I've learned to appreciate about myself. It's something that I've learned to love about myself. It's something that I don't make apologies or exceptions for. It is who I am. And when you help someone find that place, they're going to find their authentic self too.
Talk about giving yourself grace and mercy, man.
Yeah.
You just boom, hit it. You have a free resource called the 3 Core Essentials to Speaking with Confidence.
Yes.
What can listeners expect when they download it, and where do they got to go to get it?
Yeah, I think, well, they can go to my website, and we have Speak More with Confidence. That's one of our opportunities where you could download it. We'll give you the link for people to get it. I think what they can get from it is a real honest perspective. In it, I share a little bit of my insight. It's almost like a workbook. Like you get to write some lines to write in it. I wrote it because I didn't know how someone was going to respond to it. I actually want to redo a revision of that because I wrote it. So you ready for this? I wrote it in 2019 and sat on it for 2 years.
So much changed.
Not only did so much change, I realized that it was much easier for me to hold it in my head than in my heart. Okay? Yeah.
Killing me.
Yeah. To hold it in my head.
What does that mean?
Like in other words, I did it. I did it. But I don't want to let anybody get it yet because I don't want them to criticize me.
Yep.
So I sat on it for 2 years. And then I realized what's holding me back. I'm a huge perfectionist.
Just look at your hair. It's perfect.
So I'm a huge perfectionist. And one of the things that I realize as well is that perfectionists will kill your progress. It will kill. It's like, I think is like taking a bullet right to it. And because I had to learn that even if it wasn't perfect, it just needed to be out.
Yep.
Even if it was flawed, let me get it out. And it was a huge hurdle for me to overcome it, but I had to do it. What they're going to get from it is just some practical handles on why it's important to have a why, what, and who, why it's essential to build on it. And I think there's so many people out there with powerful stories and powerful messages.
Yep.
And the graveyard is full of them that never got told.
People dying to get in there.
Yeah.
Progress over perfection. You'll hear me say that. And I'll give you a bonus thing at the end. I was killing as a leader progress by criticizing unintendedly. Like I would just say, hey, why didn't you do this? And I was asking a question full of love and just trying to understand. But that first question made him think, oh, he didn't like it. And so they would wait and hold it perfection. So be very careful as a leader that how you form your questions. You said it earlier, seek to be interested more than interesting.
Yeah.
And seek to be curious and understand where did it come from, what were thoughts, and don't criticize. Be curious, don't criticize.
Yeah, I think curiosity changes everything. You know, when I went to coach training school and we learned how to use powerful questions, we spent a whole weekend, 3 days, learning how to ask the right question.
Wow. You're probably a good prompter now.
Oh,
huh?
man, it has helped me out tremendously because I realized that I was doing more talking than listening. Right? There's like in active listening, there's 3 levels. Is What does it mean to me? What does it mean to you? And then what does it mean to us? And so I teach this often to executives because a lot of them think they're listening and they're not. They're not listening at a high level.
How do people listen better? Because God gave you 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth for a reason, but yet we use that mouth like it's...
How I've learned for me is that it's okay to have information and it's okay not to know. I actually think a good entrepreneur must be ignorant, arrogant, and confident at the same time.
You're just sitting, we're at the end of the show. You're dropping all these. I hope people have stayed in there.
I'm serious. Like, you need all three. Like, you need to be ignorant. You need to not know some stuff.
It's a little narcissistic. Yeah, what you're saying.
100%. You need a little bit. And you need to be confident. You need to be arrogant. You need to feel like you're the best, even if you're not.
You just described me.
Yeah, I feel that way all the time. Because if I go in there thinking that I'm not the best, I don't care if you're the best version of you. I actually like that. You be the best version of you, because I can't be you. But understand, you can't be me.
Oh, man. You're on fire. We need to go for another hour. We can't. Head over to, what's the website again?
It's BennySalas.com.
Head over to that. Get that free download. I share the show, guys. This has been action-packed. Follow Benny. Forward this to anybody that you think needs
Follow
this.
me, at Coach Benny Salas on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Benny Salas. You name it. Threads, but Coach Benny, you got it.
Yeah. Thanks for being, till next time, be harder than life. Thanks for being here, brother.
Let's go.
Please rate and share this podcast. I'm active on all social platforms and love to hear from my Siegel supporters. Each and every episode is sponsored by my company, National Technology Management, the easiest and best IT company to do business with, delivering peace of mind with technology every day, even simplifying cybersecurity. Visit trustntm.com for more info. Until next week, be harder than life.